We are here at Mobile World Congress, Las Vegas. We're in the Arrcus booth right now, and joining me is Sanjay from Arrcus. Thanks so much for making some time for us.
Thanks so much, Phil, for having me.
Good to see you. And Arrcus is really in the network infrastructure. When we first started talking about you, it was primarily about routing. But now, the theme here is that you're modernizing the entire network with an intent of accelerating 5G and AI as they're both converging and surging ahead, into our lives, and sort of every aspect of what we're doing in the telecom industry and in communications broadly. And Arrcus has, let's see, I guess 4 things we need to talk about here.
Yeah.
First, let's cover the product announcement, the ACE AI. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on there?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Absolutely. At Arrcus, we're essentially looking to innovate the networks for network operators. The simple thesis is we want to help network operators monetize their infrastructure, so help them with the top line. Number 2, be able to improve the operational efficiency in the networks and do it but at the same time lowering the total cost of ownership. Right. So in order to do that, we're constantly pushing the envelope in terms of how we can deliver that kind of innovation. So this year, what we're really doing is showcasing how the network needs to be transformed and what kind of innovations we're able to deliver to really unleash the potential of both 5G and AI. And like you said, the convergence of these 2 technologies.
Yeah.
These are 2 massive drivers, but the traditional way of networking is simply not geared up to be able to help realize the benefits of both of these. So what we're doing with the announcement, the ACE AI platform that we've introduced, is really taking into account 2 things. One is the massive amount of traffic that's going to happen in any kind of data center, east-west, on account of applications like Gen AI, for example,
Right.
or whatever comes as a result of the AI ML workloads. So that's one aspect. So you need to be able to connect lots of different GPUs, high performance, in a as lossless fashion as possible, minimize the job completion time, and then at the same time be able to scale that across GPU clusters as well. So that's sort of problem number 1 that needs to be addressed. The second problem that we see is that the nature of AI is going to be really distributed.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about AI essentially being all these learning models being concentrated in the hyperscale environments. And when it comes to things like training models, that's probably where it's happening. But as you look at the things like inference models, for example, or the need to pool resources wherever they may be available,
Right.
you're going to see that AI essentially will be more distributed. It's going to be distributed at the edge, co-location providers, points of presence that telcos might have, as well as in the hyperscale environments, or for that matter, even private and hybrid kind of data centers. So once you have this distributed AI, you need to be able to access those workloads wherever they may reside.
Right.
And at the same time, an opportunity for the network operators to be able to deliver applications at the edge, whether it's for manufacturing, healthcare, retail, whatever it might be, applications that are built around AI and ML. So that's the second sort of thesis that we have. To pull all of this together, we've introduced ACE AI that has sort of 4 key tenets. Number 1, how do we solve the data center connectivity problem?
Right.
We do that with a combination of 2 architectures. You have your traditional IP class architecture for top of rack, leaf, and spine switching. We've gone beyond 400 gig into 800 gig territory to help with the high performance needs. We've introduced features like priority flow control, smart buffering, being able to spray packets across the backplane using equal cost multipath. And these are innovations that actually help with lossless connectivity. We're looking to flatten out the network. That reduces the number of hops in the network, that reduces the latency, and gives you a much more predictable way of being able to manage your flows in any kind of data center. So that's how we really address this in the data center. And by the way, Since we sort of virtualize networking, we make it available on any form factor, and you can deploy it anywhere. That gives you a pretty massive range of choices as far as form factors and deployment options are concerned. So that was the data center. Now, pulling back, I talked about the fact that AI is going to be distributed. So now, as it's distributed, edge, core, data centers, hybrid cloud, multi-cloud environments, how do you stitch all this together and make it easily accessible in a seamless fashion with a unified sort of a control plane?
Right.
And that's where we come in with solutions like Flex MCN that provides you with this unified control plane, consistent networking and routing across all of these different elements. So you can access your workloads wherever they might be, at the same time deliver the applications to where they're required. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the second piece. The third piece is the promise of 5G is perfectly suited to Gen AI type of applications at the edge. The promise is really dedicated high bandwidth with low latency, delivered through slicing.
Right.
Unfortunately, the current solutions for 5G today, for 5G network slicing, don't allow you to scale, or at the same time in terms of network slicing, as well as for MEC sites or MEC infrastructure, without incurring massive costs, right? So that's the operational problem. And that's why you haven't really seen 5G network slicing take off.
Right.
So we've introduced a technology in collaboration with SoftBank called SRv6 Mobile User Plane. Now, this technology essentially allows you to automate network slicing and orchestrate that end to end, at the same time making it much simpler and reducing the total cost of ownership. So this is a way in which network operators can actually start monetizing their 5G networks and be able to deliver applications, Gen AI applications, for example, with network slicing at scale, at the same time being able to control their costs. So that's sort of the third element of our ACE AI solution.
Okay.
And then the fourth, last but not least, is Arc which is really our visibility platform. Gives you end-to-end visibility of the network, whether it's in the data center or the edge, and let you know what's going on with your network, predictive analytics, so you can take some action on top of that as well. So that's ACE AI for you, and that's one of the key key announcements that we've made here at MWC.
Yeah, it's a massive step forward, but also necessary because this step requires as you're combining different computing types and trying to deliver multiple services over a network, you have to have visibility for all of it. You have to have that quality assurance all the way across. Otherwise, service providers are not going to be able to do what you said, monetize it, and then come up with new services on top of that.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the work you're doing with NVIDIA and the partnership there. What does that cover, and how does that sort of dovetail into this?
Yeah, we're really excited about the collaboration with NVIDIA. So as I mentioned, our operating system or our networking stack really virtualizes networking, allowing you to be able to deploy that at any kind of form factor, right? So with NVIDIA, with their Bluefield DPU, which is really a smart NIC, we work closely with them to offload secure networking, so things like IPsec onto the network, onto their accelerated compute, their smart NIC.
Okay.
We're able to get like 20 times the performance that you would typically get for IPsec. So what this does is this really pushes data center networking to a different level, ensuring high performance, secure connectivity, especially when it comes to things like AI ML workloads or any application that really demands secure networking, but with high performance. So we're really excited about that collaboration with NVIDIA, and we were proud to announce that today as well.
Okay.
So that's another key announcement that we have.
Yeah, and then there's also the work with Red Hat.
Yes.
Another one of your partners. And they're kind of all over this space. So what are you doing specifically with them, and how does that work in?
Yes, that's another exciting announcement that we've made. With Red Hat, we've collaborated really around multi-cloud networking. So Red Hat is a fantastic solution for telco edge, for the telco cloud. And with our networking stack, we're able to essentially help deliver all the way from the edge into the multi-cloud environments applications and workloads wherever they may reside. Again, that's our network fabric. Working closely with Red Hat really gives network operators a complete, well-integrated solution that includes the sort of virtualized infrastructure with our networking alongside. So that's another exciting collaboration that we have. And in that regard, in multi-cloud networking, we've also introduced a collaboration with Intel. So with Intel Phantom Lake, what we're doing is really sort of getting blazing speed and performance for multi-cloud networking, right from from one point of connectivity, let's say it's at the edge, into the public cloud environments, and doing that with that very, very high speeds and throughput. And that solves another problem when it comes to delivering multi-cloud connectivity.
It's fantastic. Well, Sanjay, you've covered a pretty broad, swath of networking technologies, but it seems like you've got, some intentionality with all of this. It's very focused and very specific on what operators need right now, and also, kind of the pain points they're addressing, but then how we get them ready for the moment when they're having to deliver, the benefits of AI and 5G at the same time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the key for us that we believe is that legacy networking, because it's hardware centric, right, and it's expensive, it's kind of inflexible, simply is not geared to be able to deliver for all these different trends. And we really want to do that solve that problem by making it completely programmatic. So that's completely agile, flexible, and you can start realizing the potential of all these different technologies and trends.
I think that buttons it up nicely, and thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.